2025?
So moved.
First, Mrs. Isler, second, Mr. Nichols. Roll call vote, Mrs. Isler.
Approved.
Mr. Nichols.
Approved.
Mrs. Pugh.
Approved.
And Ms. Rao.
Approved.
So approved. Recognition of guest. Dr. Larimore.
Good evening, everybody. Mrs. Whaley, could you join me up front, please? We have a very special announcement today. We have had two of our nurses receive National Board certification. You know, our nurses do more than just take temperatures. They take care of hearts and fears and futures every day. And for you two to lift the standard here and lift the level of mastery we have for our care for our students means a lot. But don't let me bury the lead here. Let me introduce you guys first. Ladies and gentlemen, in recognition of their exceptional dedication and expertise, we would like to honor two of our nurses for their acquiring of their National Board certification. Logan Downs. And Kelly Drive. We are also honored to have here with us today our FFA students who are freshly back from Indiana. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, can we have, please, our advisors, Dr. Matthew Wood and Ms. Cindy Simmons, please come to the front.
All right, good evening. So my name is Dr. Matt Wood, and I'm joined by Ms. Sydney Simmons. We are the high school agriculture teachers and FFA advisors at Laurel High School. We're grateful for the opportunity to share some extraordinary accomplishments from this year's National FFA Convention and Expo, which was held in Indianapolis, Indiana, October 27th through November 1st. This year, our FFA chapter continued to shine on the national stage, representing not only our school and district, but our entire state. So this year we had 5 students participate in AgriScience Fair. This involves students identifying a research area that they were interested in or wanted to explore, conducting an experiment, drafting a report, and sharing their findings with a series of judges. These projects are cutting edge and represent the future of agriculture. Our first student that we would like to call up is Carson Pete. Carson participated in the Animal Systems Division III category, placing first in the state and qualified to participate at nationals.
My project was titled Sip, Grow, Repeat, evaluating water supplement additives with growth enhancement in lay-in chicks in the wake of the A flu. For this project, Dr. Wood and I hatched 2 different breeds of lay-in chicks. We had Silkies and Burmas. For the project, we provided them with different additives to their water, for instance, electrolytes and probiotics to see how it would affect their growth rates and development over a 1-month period. With issues last year from the influenza flu, rise in the cost of eggs, The purpose of this project was to see if providing additives would allow chicks to grow at a faster rate in order to get them at the lay-in stage of production quicker.
Our next two students could not be here this evening, but they are Jaslyn Hersher and Brooklyn Hyson. We have one that is another obligation and one that is sick. These two participated in the Plant Systems Division 4 category, placing first in the state. They were also named national finalists and then ended up placing 7th in the nation. Their project was called Substrate Showdown, evaluating hydroponic and soil-based growing methods for pea plant development. So for those who do not know, hydroponics is a way to grow plants without soil and relies on a consistent supply of water. For this project, they used the hydroponic systems that we have here at Laurel High School to see how plants grow in 2 different substrates, expanded clay pebbles and rock wool, and then compared those 2 growing plants in a traditional soil-based method. With the growing demand for sustainable food products and increasingly limited land available for traditional agriculture, their project addressed an important real-world challenge that allowed them to see how food can be produced with less space and fewer resources. Our final 2 students that I would like to call up are Brennan Thompson and Destiny McCrae. They participated in the Social Systems Division 4 category, placing first in the state. They also were named national finalists and then ended up placing 6th in the nation.
Our project was titled Not Fully in a Circle, a national study on barriers to minority students' engagement in FFA. For this project, we worked with Dr. Wood to construct a survey to assess the barriers that minority students faced when participating in FFA. This was a national study that surveyed 493 members from 21 different states. Our results allowed us to see that factors like transportation, financial challenges, and lack of resources were some of the top barriers in minority FFA members in actively participating. After we finished this project, we were contacted by the National FFA organization to share our project and results in an effort for the organization to make a greater strides and ensure it is equitable and all FFA members can benefit from the opportunities in FFA, including at the local level.
In addition to these students, we also had 2 Laurel FFA alumni that we wanted to recognize tonight as well. They were also recognized at the National FFA Convention. So Braden Hearn could not be here this evening, but he is a 2023 graduate of Laurel High School. He was also a member of our FFA chapter. He had earned his American FFA degree this past year at the National Convention. This is the highest award that is provided by our organization, with only 1% of FFA members earning it. Braden received it for his dedication to a supervised agricultural experience project, which focused on working on his family's farm, raising and showing livestock, and interning at the Cargill Research Center in Georgetown. Braden is currently a junior at Delaware Valley University, majoring in agribusiness. And then finally, it is our honor to recognize our last alumni member who is here this evening, Joey Nowotny. Joey is also a 2023 graduate of Laurel High School and a member of our FFA chapter. He recently was named the National FFA Eastern Region Vice President for the upcoming year. So to provide some context, every year the National FFA organization names 6 student leaders to serve as National FFA officers. Leading up to this election, Joey completed an intensive week-long interview process at Nationals, competing against 37 other states' candidates through multiple rounds of personal interviews, one-on-one interviews, a stand and deliver speech, networking activities, and a workshop facilitation round. For the next year, he will be on the road along with his teammates who hail from Oklahoma, Michigan, Tennessee, Nebraska, and Oregon for about 300 days out of the year, participating in leadership training, speaking at conferences, networking with industry leaders, facilitating leadership workshops, and traveling around the country to represent the over 1 million FFA members across the United States. Joey is the first person in Laurel history to hold this position, and only the 6th person from Delaware in the organization's 99-year history. We can't begin to put into words how proud we are of him, the growth that he has had throughout high school, into state office, and now national FFA office. We're very fortunate to have been part of his story. Following his year of service, Joey plans to enroll in school at Texas A&M University with a full ride scholarship majoring in ag economics and policy. Thank you.
I just want to say real quick before the board comes up and join us, what Joey has done, that's extraordinary. You're talking, I mean, seriously, think about that. There's six am I getting this wrong? 6 in the whole nation that are overseeing 1 million FFA students. Is that right? Yeah. And you're one of them. Can you guys give it up one more time for that? That's crazy. That's just crazy. And I appreciate Dr. Wood and Mrs. Simmons for everything they're doing as well, to make the ag program FFA one of our strongest programs. And we're so proud of all of you. Thank you so very much. How about one more round of applause, everybody? Thank you.
Okay, next we have communication and announcements.
Nope.
Okay, public participation. I have no one that has signed up. Superintendent remarks.
Mike. Hello, everybody. Tonight, I wanted to present for the first time our referendum proposal to the Board of Education. And it will just give me about 10 minutes. I think I can get through this effectively for everybody. That's Big Red, and Big Red says vote for the first time in 40 years. So there might be some people watching or people in the audience. What are you talking about? We just got you in schools in 2012. We went through the polls for that. But I will explain all of that, why that was capital. So the essential question is, why do we need a current expense referendum and what's at stake? That's school funding 101. First of all, what are referendums? There it is. Referendums are community vote that lets local taxpayers decide whether to give permission to raise additional funds. When you look at your tax bill, there's 2 parts of it. It's on referendum, current expense, and debt service. Debt service is the mortgage on your home. It's how much we pay for new schools. That's debt service. Everything gets a little less than the other. Right? Laura's our finance director. She's going to jump in here and help me with the number I needed. But debt service is the mortgage, the current expenses, the monthly bills, current expenses, payroll, current expenses, operations, current expenses, supply, everything you need. And here's how you should think about it. Capital referendum is the roof over your home, it's your home, and then current expenses, all of the things you take to maintain the home. We've never had current expense referendum since 1985. 40 years. The more simple funding 101, I want to show you our current expense tax line generates 2.3 million. That's our new current expense rate, 10.5 cents, 10.5 cents, right? Remember last week we assessed it as $1.50 for $100. Now it's 10.5 cents basically for every $100 because the assessments have done more than correct people whatever. But that's $2.3 million what our current expense revenue generates of the revenue. And how much do we have in all these rooms? We have 4.5 million. In all our rooms, we have 4.5 million. Every corner, every pocket, every piggy bank you got is 4.5 million. Okay. So I'm going to show you. First of all, you might be wondering what is the current expense paid for all these salaries, employee benefits, facilities and operations, state food and security. Transportation, 10% of that's local now. State balance, right? Student service, athletic field for parks, all these things are not. But in simple form, I like to a little bit. Stabilization, compensation, nothing. That's what stabilization of your budget. Compensation for staff and optimization that you need to keep everything moving forward on a daily basis. So there's just such a question again, why do we need a current expense reference and what that state? Stabilization of the deficit budget. We go on a deficit about $500,000 a year on our payroll. We're not hiring anybody. We don't employ anybody that we don't hire. Don't employ anybody that we don't hire. What I'm going to say is, we're not employing anybody we don't hire. How is there a $500,000 deficit there? Because there's a cost of rising student population. This is only since 2013. I couldn't go all the way back to 1985, so I went on what we had on record, and we're looking at everybody was on 2013. Our school population in the 21-35 is now 25-44. It had increased 19% in 12. Our school population is 19%. Here's the thing. Usually here we've got more kids than need to be more teachers now to save pay for. When you get more kids, you gotta have two things out. You gotta have someone to teach them, you gotta have a place to put them. So you gotta help us out with a place to put them in schools and we're filling them up. So we're gonna be all right for a while. But now we're gonna hire a teacher. Here's the deal with that. Every teacher we hire saves multiplies for 70% and 30% more. So every time we get so many new students, 18 students, 18 to 20 students, we generate another teacher because we need them. But every time we generate that, we turn 30% of the salary and that would be low. They only cover 70% of it. So every time our population grows, our budget gets bigger. And what happens when your budget out of the revenue? Here are some numbers to look at. Student population again, increased staff just out of our tax revenue is going from 213 to 249, which is 17% increase. Am I not loud enough? Okay, sorry. 17% increase, 45% increase in payroll, and then a 21% increase in revenue. If this is outdistancing this, there's going to be a problem. So you believe the answer. Why in the world, as everything 17, 19, 21, the payroll was up 45%? Here's the thing. Why is it so much higher? And these are three reasons why. There's salary growth over time. We're still talking about stabilization, but here's big red stick takeaways. Yesterday's dollars owned by today's teacher. And if you look at that same staff in 2013, we had the same staff in 2014 we had today. It would still cost us 25% more because of inflation. All right. Rising cost of benefits, rising cost of salaries. Same staff back then would cost us 25% more today. Let alone we've got 36 new staff because of our student population. Warranted. We've got 36 new staff in there on that 19% bump with the student. So each new hire has local payroll cost. Again, big red big takeaways here. Yes, dollars on time base teacher. So that's one reason. Also, there's mandating the specialized staff now. These are required services. English as a second language, what we call now multi-language learners, ML. Students with disabilities, SWD. Autism, counseling, mental health. All these are legally mandated services we need to provide. We don't get to choose. They're required by law and by contract. Let me tell you how that's going for us. Our students with disabilities population since 2013 has increased 26%. Students with disabilities have 40. Okay. require more funding. But you know, say we get more. However, it's not nearly enough. It's not nearly enough. They've gone up 26% since this one. Multi-language learners has gone up 224%. Well, we used to have back in 2000, that's 15, 16, 155 adult students. Now we've got 570. So 224% increase. So all these students come with needs that need to be funded, and all these students come with first need. They need a teacher that we pay 30%. Here's the last one: rising costs of benefits. Inflation has risen 200% in the last 40 years. Our revenues increased 21%. Health insurance premiums keep rising. OEBs are other employee benefits and negotiated benefits. They keep rising. So they've risen about 4%. And they've risen, we take away down there, even the salary would stay flat. Health insurance and also retirement costs keep rising every year. So that's number one. That's why we need to stabilize our budget, because we're not taking in enough to satisfy what we need. So we're dipping into our reserve. Here's reason number two: compensation. The cost of teacher competition. Why local pay matters. Look at this. Laurel had the lowest average pay in surrounding eligible school districts. I'm going to show you the star, of course. Laurel had the largest percentage of vacancies in Suffolk County in 2023-24. Laurel had 25% of total vacancies across Sussex County in 23-24. And here's the big risk they take away. If we don't invest in our teachers, our teachers will be in someone else's classroom, and our students will pay the price. Let's look at some of the diagrams we got. I had this saved from the Chiefs meeting back in 23-24, when we were all struggling having certified teachers in our buildings. So I still have the spreadsheet. Across the nation, there are 365,000 vacancies in teaching classes. It doesn't mean somebody went into classroom. It means that person was not licensed and certified. Right? They're going to school, but they're not there yet. Or they could just be a parent that was still in it. However, 365,000 vacancies across the United States in 2024. Delaware had 432 of them. Not that much, but considering. But Sussex County had 80. Now, I'm going to give you the math on this. There's 8 school districts in Sussex County. 1 out of 8 is about 12.5%. You know, 1 by 8 is 12.5%. By right, our equitable share of vacancies should be 12.5%, but it's 25%, more than double what our share was, our equal share should be. So we had 25% of vacancies in 23-24, the South Laurel. Well, why is that? This is just local salary. For those who don't know this, the state pays the same amount of money for the state share for every teacher that goes in Delaware, whether you're at Cape, Sussex Tech, or Laurel. You got a master's plus 30 credits. You are going to get the same amount as that teacher, even though the same teacher from Dover, from the state. The rest of it comes from local. This is just our local share. Bachelor's plus 30. Now listen, the points on the pay scale, there's, I don't know, 200 of them. Bachelor's plus 0 at 1 year. Bachelor's plus, 15 in 2 years. You can have different combinations of it. So I chose 2 that I felt were the most important. Usually at 10 years, a teacher is finding his or her footing. They're very serious about it. They either have a bachelor's plus 30 at 10 years, they have a master's plus 30. So that's what I'm doing. But I guarantee I could pick any 2 data points and still say the same thing for you. Laurel, you have a bachelor's plus 30 credits, and you're in your 10th year. Your local share is 17,438. We're at 645 behind Milford, 778 behind Delmar, 2,800 behind Seaford, all the way up to $9,822 for doing the same job in Sussex County. That's all local. That's a local difference that we see. Over here on Masters, we're 8 out of 8 on Masters. 17,926. You have a master's plus 30 out of 10 years. You're making 17,926. Let's go to road. Even Delmar, you're making 2,000 more. 2,000 more, or $1,658 more. Seaford, you're making almost $5,000 more. Woodbridge, I think it's probably our most comparable. So if anybody that thinks, oh well, we should be showing cake up there, They got a high property value. We shouldn't be showing Seaford. I think Woodbridge. I don't think anybody can argue with Woodbridge. They got the same, all those same demographics. We're about 2,500 students. They got 2,600 students. All right. So they are very much similar to us. But all of us on this western side of the county, need to be aware of this. All the way up to, if I have a master's plus 30 in Sussex, the same degree, I'm going to be making 15.5 more. Your location shouldn't have to determine that. Here's reason number 3, the cost of operations. So again, stabilize the budget. 2, compensation. And 3, we want to take care of some needs we have in operations. And let me tell you, I'm going to tell you about them. There's only 2 of them, but they're very key. Student technology, our one-to-one program, which means every student has a Chromebook. Either they leave it in the classroom or they take it home. We've been doing that for about 5 years now, something like that. The ESSER money that pays all that is gone. ESSER money is the federal grant money we got with COVID. It's all gone. All right. That bill is about $300,000 a year. We put 120 of it in Title I, which is consolidated grant, which is federal money. So really, I should be asking for 300,000 to make up for it, but I'm not. But hey, we made it work by putting 120,000. We'll do it again because I wanted to ask for as little as possible. But our students to continue with technology, we've got to find a way to make up this money. Also, safety and security, stronger connections training. Now, Mrs. Whalen takes some time to make sure she fills out shepherds every year. That's going away. That pays for half our constables and almost, is it all of our EPers for safety events? EPers, extra pay for extra pay, extra responsibility. Every time we have a get together, they call kids after school, we have a constable. They have to get paid. We want to be safe. That money is going away. Strong production rate itself. So why now? 2 generations of that. Everybody up here is a grandmother and grandfather. This is 1985 year book. That's Donald Moore. You guys remember Donald Galson? That's her. Yeah. Who else? Got Brendan Puffin over there. Plus Steve Doherty. Is that Steve Doherty? All these people are grand. 2 generations of that. Since we had current sense. Why is that important? If you look at this and see what our neighbors are doing. Since 2000, Laurel has been out for a current expense referendum 0 times, and basically that passed through. This 100% of the shops you don't take. Delmar, in the past 25 years, has been out twice, and they've passed 2 of them. Seaford's been out 4 times, passed 3 of them. Plus Exec has been out no times, but it's passed 9 of them because they have a different funding system. Legislators just happen to support that. Thank you for that. Sorry. So they pass 1 every 2.7 years. Woodbridge, again, on our scale, have been out 7 times and passed 3 of them. So they're going out once every less than 4 years, or 3.5 years. Woodbridge is going out because they know that that's to keep in contention when there's happening. So they're not going to have to eat. They're not going to have to sit. They're going to have to eat slugs. They're not going to have to eat. So they do this. They go out every 3.5, 4 years. Milford's even been out 4 times, past 2 of them. Indian River's been out 11 times, past 4 every 2.27 years. We've not been out. We've not been out for 1 in 40 years. Why now? Because there's a 0 day. Here's what I want to do to stabilize the budget. We're down about $500,000 a year. So we got to take care of that, right? I don't think anybody wants to see us give up on technology or safety and security. So we got to do that. The other thing that we can't pay that I'm recommending is a 7% overall raise for everybody to get compensation where it should be with our neighboring district, so we don't ever have to go through another year like 2020. And I've got more information for you on that in just a second. But if we still pay, we got a $500,000 deficit every year.
So that comes right off the top. Then we got to pay safety and security. We got to pay technology, right? So that comes off every year. And there's a 5% increase every year because we have negotiations with the different unions. We have school nutrition union, we have support staff union, we have teachers union. So we estimate that there's a 5% increase because of inflation every year and negotiation. So that's built in, okay? So those two things taken care of, but also take care of the budget deficit as well as technology and security. Our last full year will be 2028-29 if we don't pass the very close on. And if we don't, if we go back here and say, okay, well, maybe kids don't need Chromebooks. I don't know. Is that a possibility? Yes, possibility. I don't want to do that. Right now, it's still funding technology, still funding safety and security. We got a few years out ahead of us. So I'm not making up any desperate situation, guys. I think that's pretty desperate. I'm going to be back on 28-29. I think it's pretty desperate. But I'm employing that everybody. I'm employing the board. Respect this reputation and give it due consideration to allow us to go out for it on February 9th. But I'm also asking you guys to think about our future. I mean, the high school is fully staffed. Right now, fully staffed. All right. The high schools across the nation, but particularly in Delaware, it's hard to staff. Laurel's right there. We're fully staffed. I don't think any of us want to go back, to the way of it. And we have to stay competitive. But let me show you what that looks like. So how much are we asking for? First of all, let me tell you what a penny is for. They don't even have pennies anymore. All right, so this is our current expense rate right now, 10.5 cents, 10.5 cents. 1 penny generates $220,000 for us in revenue. Yep, look all the way up the chart. 4 million for any revenue for 1 penny, 9 million for something like that. And then look at the tax revenue. We collected $2.3 million off that 10.5 cents. 2.3. Sussex Tech at 13. Indian River at 51 million. But let's look at Woodbridge. They've got almost double us. Right? Let's stick with our side. I'm talking about all Western Susquehanna. Let's look at our side. Woodbridge, very similar. They've already got 4 million. They're not even trying to buy for us. We're at 2.3. You might say, and look, I'm not trying to accuse everybody, but because the state of Delaware knows that poor property tax districts like ours are going to have a hard time funding school, they have this extra fund called equalization fund. Okay, it's supposed to make everything equal. We get the astounding $3.14 million every year from that fund, put our total revenue at $5.4 million. Whereas, Indian River, they've got 51 million in tax revenue. They got $1 billion in equalization. Sussex Tech, to be fair, only get 168,000. When you look at the total revenue, I've added both these lines together, and then we divide it by the total student to try to make this equal. So the way to look at it, we got tax revenue, we got equalization. Everybody gets our tax rate is so much lower than yours. It's not comparable. You're right. So let's do it by the one thing that's comparable. Let's divide it by the number of students. So look at your total revenue divided by the number of students you have. That's revenue per student. We are at $2,191 per student after all our revenue. Even Delaware is beating us by $41. And you go up the list there. Woodbridge is beating us by $737 per student. Seaford is beating us by $1,000 per student. Milford's even beating us by $600 a student. Not even calling it for Cape and Logan and something like that, but you guys get to see. I wouldn't be $8,000, $7,590 per student. Down here in Laurel, 21. I'm sorry, the difference is about $7,541. So that's how much we're here. So now let's talk about how much we're asking for. I told you we want to focus on stabilization, compensation, and operations. We plan out 5 years. All right, and we add 5% every year for inflation and other negotiations. Then we add compensation. I want a 7% competitive pay increase for everybody on staff. That's going to cost us about $600,000 over 5 years. And then we also have operations, student technology. You notice I didn't take the whole $300,000 because we've already been putting some of it into one. We're going to continue to put some of it into one grant. So we needed about 218. Safety and security, we're gonna need about 200,000. The total we're asking for is $1.6 million. You might say, how come you're not asking for 1.3? Yeah, we could go out here and ask for 1.3, so bring that 0.0742 down, but we're gonna be back out again in 2 years. And we'll be right back again with our top asking for more. So everybody goes out 5 years and they say, okay, if you guys approve this and help us fund this, it should last another 5 to 7 years. It's been 40 years. We've been making it for 40 years, you know. It's time to make decisions about, and I know, and I get everybody stretching everything they've got. And I've never talked about a guy who ripped Harvard Arts College. I know all about that, right? I know working well. I think everybody working very hard. But we also have to have time when we invest in our invest in our school system. We've got a lot of great schools, we've got a lot of great educators, a lot of great staff members all over. So we have to ask for the 1.6 to make sure it lasts. If you're looking down here, I don't know if you can get rid of that. There at the bottom, guys. Well, it says 0.0742, 7.5 cents. Let's look at that, what that looks like. I'm gonna go on with that. The average house down in Laurel, and I told you guys last year when I mentioned this, we're going to wait time to reassess it. Reassess it in a minute. The average home in Laurel is assessed at $230,527. How much more annually would be 7.5 cents at 7.42 cents? It'd be $171.04 annually, $14.25 per month, 47 cents per day. Some of you guys are less than that. That's why I've got the $150,000 range there. And I got the upper range, 350, 400,000. You can figure it out there. If your house is not assessed by any of these three numbers I gave you, and you can scan this QR code, it's going to take you right to a spreadsheet. You're going to put in what the value of your house is. It's going to tell you how much more that 7.42 cents costs you. So I encourage everybody. We're going to have this on the website starting tomorrow. I will be going around to public meetings. Lions, Rotary, Rotary, etc. As many people want to talk to me as possible, I'll go and talk to them. So this will be available tomorrow. Let me just show you. If the referendum is approved, we'll be stabilized on the budget. No more deficit budget spending. Operations will be funded. Safety and security technology. Let's talk about the last conversation. Even if the referendum is approved, we'll be at 17.99, 17 cents or 18 cents for current expense. Look where that puts us. Milford's already more than that. Woodbridge is right near that. That's not even counting their Kent County side of current expense. So they're over 17.07. And see down here at 19, almost 20. So it still puts us far below this. But here's the big kicker. I've rearranged this chart. If the referendum were to go through, in Baxter, we moved from 8th place out of 8 to 6th place out of 8. We go to 18,658. In Masters, with that 7% increase, we go from 8th in Masters to 8th in Masters. We don't bump up at all. And my point is this. If we can get this budget stabilized, take care of safety and security, when will we go back out again? It's not only 40 years, I can tell you. It's going to be closer probably in the 5 to 10 year range. Probably right in the middle there, about 7 years, 6 years, something like that. But then it won't be 7 cents. It'll be 1 cent. It'll be 2 cents. All right, it'll be something to get our pay scale for our teachers where it should be. Our pay scale for our maintenance people, pay scale for nutrition workers, etc. So, but here's the kicker. If we freeze this moment in time, we say, all right, right now we got this. We moved to 6 in Masters and we moved to 8. We're still in 8 in Masters. There's school districts right now in Western Sussex County doing the same thing we're doing, talking about going out right here. So this is very fluid. What I'm trying to say is, yeah, if we got that approved tonight and we froze this tonight, that's where we'd be 6 out of 8 and 8 out of 8. there's a very good chance that we could get this fast, another just go out on referendum, and we're still 8 out. What I'm saying is not enough, really. We have to continually go to you guys and ask you, and look, put our best forward too, and say we gotta do better as a school team. We gotta give you guys our community, we gotta give a reason to keep your kids here, not just pre-K grade, pre-K. We gotta give you guys a reason. And I understand it more than anything. I really do. And you can hold us accountable. But there's really no future for the whole school district without us being able to stay out for our expense. So, how do we vote? On February 9th from 7 to 8 p.m. These are, I don't know, are they solidified now? They clarified? We're at the Laurel Elementary School, one of the Laurel Elementary Academy, and Laurel Fire Department. That big. Okay. Well, we got fire department standing by, hopefully we can bring a form of ID or proof of residency. You do not need to be a registered voter or a property owner, but you must be a resident of Laurel, a U.S. citizen, and at least 18 years of age. Absentee ballot instructions are too numerous to mention right now. Some of them on the website if anybody's interested in absentee ballot. So, why do we need the current expense referendum? As a good lesson, we'll pose again the essential question. Number one, stabilization budget. The two, compensation for staff. And the three, operations specific technology and safety and security. If it passes, we'll have funding to stabilize the budget. We've got funding secured to reduce compensation for all staff. And we'll have an investment in student technology and safety and security that goes on in the budget. If it fails, we'll go out again. We got to go out 2 times in 1 calendar year, I believe, so we'll go out again. Budget cuts will be explored, staff layoffs, critical activities, maybe risk from teacher vacancies if we cannot afford the staff that we earn at that point, and loss of student technology and extreme reduction in safety and security. I don't know if you have to tell you guys that's what's going to happen. I don't. But we got on the route. So, that being said, thank you for your time. I will continue to meet with organizations across the world in the coming months. We fill out a blog series too, starting next week. And as Big Red said, please vote for the first time. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to, if the board doesn't object, skip over the board participation. Okay. I'm gonna skip over that. Monthly financial report. Ms. Horsey.
Good evening.
Hello.
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 Just update from our last meeting last month. Submitted the quarterly bond bill report. And we also submitted the facility use and disposition report. Things we have coming up, we have the class size waiver, which is in the in your board packets tonight. That is for classes that are exceeding in grades K through 3 that exceed 22 students per 1 teacher. We have 6 classrooms that exceed that. We're doing position reconciliations, which is an ongoing process. Our related services declarations will be coming up in December. We also need to have our reduction plan, which is the funds that we have to return to the state to the tune of $422,000. That is due to the state by December 31st. Our opportunity funds report will be due by January 1st, and it will be posted on our website. The enhanced MCI spending plan is due to Department of Education by January 1st. And we have a couple of audits ongoing, our FY24 local funds audit and our FY24 and 25 school construction examinations are going on it right now. And this is a snapshot of our reserve and local funds just as compared to the same place as we had last year. So we are keeping that same trend. So any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Unfinished business, the second reading, JIHC LSD Weapon Detection Screening Program Revision. as submitted and found on the district website in the Board of Education policy section and as found at the law school district sites.
Second.
First, Mrs. Pugh, second, Mrs. Isler. Roll call vote, Mrs. Pugh, Mrs. Isler,
Approved.
Ms. Ralph,
Approved.
and Mr. Nichols.
Approved.
So approved. School choice, recommend approval of school choice as a group. First, Mrs. Pugh,
Second.
second, Mrs. Isler. Roll call vote, Mrs. Pugh,
Approved.
Mrs. Isler,
Approved.
Ms. Ralph,
Approved.
and Mr. Nichols.
Approved.
So approved. Recommend approval of school choice as submitted.
So moved.
First, Mrs. Isler, second, Mrs. Pugh. Roll call vote, Mrs. Isler,
Approved.
Mrs. Pugh, Ms. Ralph,
Approved.
and Mr. Nichols.
Approved.
So approved. Recommend to approve. Oh, never mind. Fundraisers. Approval of fundraisers as a group.
So moved.
First, Mr. Nichols. Second, Mrs. Pugh. Roll call vote, Mr. Nichols,
Approved.
Mrs. Pugh,
Approved.
Ms. Ralph,
Approved.
and Mrs. Isler.
Approved.
So approved. Recommend approval of fundraiser as submitted.
So moved.
First, Mr. Nichols. Second, Mrs. Pugh. Roll call vote, Mr. Nichols,
Approved.
Mrs. Pugh,
Approved.
Ms. Ralph,
Approved.
and Mrs. Isler.
Approved.
So approved. Rentals. Recommend to approve request of Amy Proctor, Trinity Foundation, to host Big Pink Volleyball Tournament at Laurel Middle High School Gymnasium on Saturday, March the 21st, 2026, from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. for purpose to raise funds for Tidal Health. Cost is $240 per team. Requested equipment, microphone, sound system, scoreboard, chairs, and tables. Certificate of liability insurance provided.
I recommend approval of use of facility fee, custodial, and constable fees applied.
Okay, Ms. Isler is recommending approval of use of facility fee, custodial, and constable fees applied. Second, Mrs. Pugh. Roll call vote, Mrs. Isler,
Approved.
Mrs. Pugh,
Approved.
Ms. Ralph,
Approved.
Mr. Nichols.
Approved.
So approved. Recommend to approve the request of Zachary Whaley, Laurel Wrestling Club, to host Laurel Wrestling Club at Laurel High School Fitness Weight Room on Tuesdays and Thursdays from November 2025 until March 2026 from 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. for purpose to raise funds for the club. Cost is $10 per person, constable on site as coach, certificate of liability insurance not provided.
I recommend approval of use of facility fee, custodial, and constable fees waived.
Mrs. Isler is recommending the approval, use of facility fee, custodial, and constable fees waived, with a second by Mr. Nichols. Roll call vote, Mrs. Isler,
Approved.
Mr. Nichols,
Approved.
Mrs. Pugh,
Approved.
and Ms. Ralph.
Approved.
So approved. No professional trips. Recommend to approve the waiver requirements per 14 Delaware Code 1705A, requiring the ratio of students to instructors in any class in kindergarten or grades 1 through 3 in a Delaware public school shall not exceed 22 students as of the last school day of October. In calculating such ratio, a classroom instructional aide shall count as equal to half a teacher. This subsection shall only apply to a class within which students are instructed in the core academic subjects of English, language arts, mathematics, science, and social studies.
So moved.
First, Mr. Nichols. Second, Mrs. Pugh. Roll call vote, Mr. Nichols,
Approved.
Mrs. Pugh,
Approved.
and Ms. Ralph,
Approved.
and Ms. Isler.
Approved.
So approved. Law School District upper position, mock trial advisor. Recommend approving the Law School District upper position, mock trial advisor under Group 2.
So moved.
First, Mrs. Isler.
Second.
Second, Mrs. Pugh. Roll call vote, Mrs. Isler,
Approved.
Mrs. Pugh,
Approved.
Mr. Nichols,
Approved.
and Ms. Ralph.
Approved.
So approved. Law School District current expense referendum date. Approving the Law School District current expense referendum date for Monday, February the 9th, 2026.
So
So
moved.
moved. Second.
First, Mrs. Isler, second, Mr. Nichols. Roll call vote, Mrs. Isler,
Approved.
Mr. Nichols,
Approved.
Mrs. Pugh,
Approved.
and Ms. Ralph.
Approved.
So approved.
Thank you.
Law School District Notice of Election. There is a
Special.
resolution before us to proceed with a referendum in February of 2026. Any discussion by any board member? Do I have a yes or a no? No? Recommend approving the Law School District Notice of Special Election for the Law School District Current Expense Referendum.
So moved.
First, Mrs. Pugh.
Second.
Second, Mr. Nichols. Roll call vote. Mrs. Pugh,
Approved.
Mr. Nichols,
Approved.
Ms. Ralph,
Approved.
and Mrs. Isler.
Approved.
So approved. Had the first reading IJNC School Library Collection Development and Review of Materials. Materials as submitted and found on the district website in the Board of Education Policy section and as found at the law school district sites. This policy is available for review by the community at the law school district buildings on the district website. Tonight is first reading. Recommend first reading of GCCAC paid leave for birth or adoption of a child. Revision as submitted and found on the district website in the Board of Education Policy section and as found at the law school district sites. This policy is available for review by the community at the law school district buildings and on the district website. Personnel. A, professional staff. Recommend to approve the personnel report with recommendations as discussed in executive session as listed in attachment A.
So moved.
First, Mrs. Pugh.
Second.
Second, Mr. Nichols. Roll call vote. Mrs. Pugh.
Approved.
Mr. Nichols.
Approved.
Mrs. Isler.
Approved.
And Ms. Ralph.
Approved.
So approved. Support staff. Recommend to approve the personnel report with recommendations as discussed in executive session as listed in attachment B.
So moved.
First, Mr. Nichols.
Second.
Second, Mrs. Pugh. Roll call vote. Mr. Nichols.
Approved.
Mrs. Pugh.
Approved.
Ms. Ralph.
Approved.
And Mrs. Isler.
Approved.
So approved. Personnel attachment C, coaches. We are tabling number 7. Recommend to approve the personnel report with recommendations as discussed in executive session as listed in attachment C. First, Mrs. Pugh. Second, Mrs. Isler. Roll call vote. Mrs. Pugh.
Approved.
Mrs. Isler.
Approved.
Ms. Ralph.
Approved.
Mr. Nichols.
Approved.
So approved. Personnel attachment D, administrator. Renault. Recommend to approve the personnel report with recommendations as discussed in executive session as listed in attachment D.
So moved.
First, Mr. Nichols.
Second.
Second, Mrs. Pugh. Roll call vote. Mr. Nichols.
Approved.
Mrs. Pugh.
Approved.
Ms. Ralph.
Approved.
And Mrs. Isler.
Approved.
So approved. Attachment E. Recommend to approve the personnel report with recommendations as discussed in executive session as listed in attachment E.
So moved.
First, Mr. Nichols. Second, I believe Mrs. Pugh.
Yep.
Roll call vote. Mr. Nichols.
Approved.
Mrs. Pugh.
Approved.
Ms. Ralph.
Approved.
And Mrs. Isler.
Approved.
So approved. Personnel attachment F. Recommend to approve the personnel report with recommendations as discussed in executive session as listed in attachment F.
So moved.
First, Mrs. Isler.
Second.
Second, Mr. Nichols. Roll call vote. Mrs. Isler.
Approved.
Mr. Nichols.
Approved.
Mrs. Pugh.
Approved.
And Ms. Ralph.
Approved.
So approved. Recommend to approve the personnel report with recommendations as discussed in executive session as listed in attachment G.
So moved.
First, Mrs. Pugh.
Second.
Second, Mr. Nichols. Roll call vote. Mrs. Pugh.
Approved.
Mr. Nichols.
Approved.
Ms. Ralph.
Approved.
And Mrs. Isler.
Approved.
So approved. Recommend to approve the personnel report with recommendations as discussed in executive session as listed in attachment H.
So moved.
First, Mr. Nichols.
Okay.
Second, Mrs. Pugh. Roll call vote. Mr. Nichols.
Approved.
Mrs. Pugh.
Approved.
Ms. Ralph.
Approved.
And Mrs. Isler.
Approved.
So approved. Personnel to approve the personnel report with recommendations as discussed in executive session as listed in attachment I.
So moved.
First, Mr. Nichols.
Second.
Second, Mrs. Pugh. Roll call vote. Mr. Nichols.
Approved.
Mrs. Pugh.
Approved.
Ms. Ralph.
Approved.
And Mrs. Isler.
Approved.
So approved. Recommend to approve the personnel report with recommendations as discussed in executive session as listed in attachment J. First, Mrs. Pugh.
Second.
Second, Mr. Nichols. Roll call vote. Mrs. Pugh. Mr. Nichols.
Approved.
Mrs. Isler.
Approved.
And Ms. Ralph.
Approved.
So approved. K, recommend to approve personnel report with recommendations as discussed in executive session as listed in attachment K. First,
First,
Mr. Nichols. Second, Mrs. Pugh. Roll call vote, Mr. Nichols.
Approved.
Mrs. Pugh. Ms. Rao.
Approved.
And Mrs. Isler.
Approved.
So approved. Recommend to approve the personnel report with recommendations as discussed in executive session as listed in attachment L. First, Mrs. Pugh. Second, Mr. Nichols. Roll call vote, Mrs. Pugh. Mr. Nichols.
Approved.
Ms. Rao.
Approved.
And Mrs. Isler.
Approved.
So approved. Recommend to approve, by the way, this is the month of December. No, what month are we?
November.
November, and this is when contracts come up. So this is, I'm almost done. Okay, attachment M. Recommend to approve the personnel report with recommendations as discussed in executive session as listed in attachment M. First, Mrs. Pugh.
Second.
Second, Mr. Nichols. Roll call vote, Mrs. Pugh. Mr. Nichols.
Approved.
Ms. Rao.
Approved.
And Mrs. Isler.
Approved.
So approved. Personnel attachment N. Recommend to approve the personnel report with recommendations as discussed in executive session as listed in attachment N.
So moved.
First, Mrs. Isler. Second, Mr. Nichols. Roll call vote, Mrs. Isler.
Approved.
Mr. Nichols.
Approved.
Mrs. Pugh. And Ms. Rao.
Approved.
So approved. O. Recommend approval of the personnel report with recommendations as discussed in executive session as listed in attachment O. First, Mrs. Pugh.
Second.
Second, Mr. Nichols. Roll call vote, Mrs. Pugh. Mr. Nichols.
Approved.
Mrs. Isler.
Approved.
Ms. Rao.
Approved.
So approved. Last one. Personnel attachment P. Cafeteria. Recommend to approve the personnel report with recommendations as discussed in executive session as listed in attachment P.
So moved.
First, Mrs. Isler. Second, Mr. Nichols. Roll call vote, Mrs. Isler.
Approved.
Mr. Nichols.
Approved.
Mrs. Pugh. And Ms. Rao.
Approved.
So approved. Okay, the regular board meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, December the 10th, 2025 at 7 p.m. right here in the cafeteria. Do I have a motion? We adjourn.
So moved.
First, Mrs. Isler. Second, Mr. Nichols. Roll call vote, Mrs. Isler.
Approved.
Mr. Nichols.
Approved.
Mrs. Pugh.
Approved.
And Ms. Rao.
Approved.
Adjourn at 8:10 p.m.
Have a
Thank you.
happy